Is it normal for your chashu bao to be trying to give birth to its chashu? But also look at how yummy and delectable it looks when you ignore that and just rip it open. Hey y'all, today we're going to be fusing our knowledge by using one of our milk bread recipes in combination with our chashu recipe to bake some chashu baos. Not featured in the background is my boyfriend jumping for joy because this is literally the only thing he's ever asked me to make in all our years of dating, even though I've been cooking basically every day since day one. I'd been putting it off because the thought of doing all the grocery shopping, then marinating the meat, then kneading the dough, then proofing the dough, then baking the meat, then chopping the meat, then making the sauce, and creating the buns, then baking the buns, honestly terrified me. But why should we pay $6 for 4 perfect chashu baos from one of America's oldest Chinatowns when we can pay $57 in ingredients to bake 11 erupting irregular chashu baos, even though the recipe makes 12 because we were greedy and put way too much filling in the first bun, which made it impossible to close up, so we had to borrow dough from what would have been the 12th bun, and then we repeat that mistake because we're much better at being stubborn than learning until there is no more dough left at the 12th bun at all. Anyways, we're now making the sauce for the baos, and I realized I was almost out of oyster sauce, and there was no way I would be able to scrape every last gloop out due to the terrible shape of the bottle. So I decided to pour some of the soy sauces into it and shake it up because yes, we're stubborn, and yes, sometimes we struggle in adulthood. But remember, we used to read a lot in middle school, and we're above grade level learners, so sometimes that genius strikes us again. In full transparency, I was starting to get very hangry at this point. Do y'all ever start cooking or baking with every intention to imbue it with only love and care, but as you're doing it, you either get too hungry or frustrated with things going wrong, and soon you're actually just incensed and realize you hate cooking and baking and only really enjoy eating and wonder why it's always you performing this act of service instead of everyone else? But of course, we're just kidding ourselves, and we'll end up doing it all over again because our love language is, in fact, rage cooking and baking. Now that we've finished up our meat filling, we're going to portion out our dough into 12 equal pieces that will eventually become our 11 baos. I'm shaking my head at my past self, taking the time to painstakingly measure out each dough ball to the gram, not knowing how absolutely fucked and uneven it's gonna get later. Now, as promised, watch me completely overfill this bun and just choose to ignore the fact that it's twice the size of the other buns. As you'll see shortly, it took me an entire tray of overfilling 6 baos before I realized, maybe I should add less filling if I don't want to keep stealing dough from the other buns, which is why the tray with 5 baos turned out much more reasonable and smooth looking. I will say though, if you have the advanced skill level of an auntie or grandma who has been making baos all their lives, then I bet you could add even more filling than I did and be able to close it perfectly. And to those people, I say fuck you. Anyways, the pastry brush was in the dishwasher that was actively running at the time because I am my worst enemy, so I used my finger to put the egg wash on each bun. Then we let them bake. The tray on the lower rack didn't get enough color for me, so I put it on the top rack for a few more minutes. But guys, I was high-key upset that literally all but one of my buns busted open because of my gluttony with the chashu. Can anyone guess which one is the first bun I made? Wrong answers only please, else I'll cry. Like, bro, why are you mid-poo right now? Anyways, I gotta tear it open and do a taste test regardless, and I'm relieved to report that they taste 50 times better than they look. I encourage you to either get some reps in by practicing on fake baos or recruit a bun-making queen before you attempt this. Okay, thank you, bye!